Number 10, part A, is about calculating the mean, median, mode, that's the three central tendencies, and variance and standard deviation using grouped data. The measures of central tendency and the measures of dispersion, the most two popular one, the most versatile one, the variance and standard deviation using grouped data. Okay, please remember, reminded that we are in numerical analysis, calculating descriptive measures to describe the data set. So imagine the data set comes like this in table form already. Okay, how to calculate the mean, median, and mode. These are the table forms that you're going to complete in the project. Okay, start transferring your data to your Excel spreadsheet so that you can start completing your frequency tables and then to start to do interesting stuff with your research project. So imagine the data value comes in tables already, like in number 10. The first question is to determine the midpoint. If we look at the question number 10, there's a little help, a little starters already. The midpoint is the lower boundary plus the upper boundary divided by 2. The midpoint is like the mid-interval, a number in the middle. It's like a median. The median of 10 and 20. What number that's in the middle of 10 and 20? Smack in the middle. Okay. To do that, you add the two boundaries and you divide by 2. Make sure, remember that you put in brackets, because if you don't do brackets, the calculator will divide and then add, and you're going to get a value that may not be in the middle. Okay. Right. So therefore now, doing this manually, you take your calculator, open bracket 10 plus 20 divided by 2, and you do them for each one. Okay. You can do that. Okay. And the assignment provide for that. However, imagine you have a long grouped table that have 50, 30 intervals. Okay. Let's open a new sheet. Okay. Let's minimize this a little bit. So I'm going to demonstrate this using Excel, using the values in the worksheet that I have here. You can see the values are different from the assignment values. Yes, 10 and 20, but I have 5 and 15. Okay. Open Excel. Put them side by side. Now, in the first column, I'm going to put the lower boundaries. In the second column, I'm going to put the upper boundaries. So the first interval is 5 to 15. Okay, 5 to 15. If you want, you can just put this centralized so that, you know, it looks a little presentable, if you will. 5 to 15. The next interval is 15 to 30. The next interval is 30 to 45. The next interval is 45 to 55. You know, a little planning always helps, you know, to speed up things in the long run. You know? Like a slow start, you plan, and then if you plan properly, things happen. Okay, so just a simple doing that, transfer this to your Excel, and anything else lower down, you can use those numbers to do it. Okay. We can even put the frequency there one time, the 8, the 20, the 30, and the 12. Bam. Okay. Determine the midpoint. Okay, so what we can do also, we can just click on this, Shift F10 or right click, insert a row. Okay, so insert a row now. Merge those two cells. Merge. That's height in centimeters. That's frequency. That's midpoint. Okay. Imagine the whiteboard on the chalk on board. You don't have that privilege. Okay. Please make use of this privilege. There is a lot of pros. Centralize. What else are you missing? Fx. So the midpoint now, the frequency is the F, words to symbols, F for frequency. And here now, the midpoint will be the X. The midpoint is the data value because the data value comes here as an interval. You have two numbers, 5 centimeters and 15 centimeters. What is the X? The X is the midpoint. Okay. And then now I see there is Fx written there, Fx. So we'll come to that afterwards. Okay. So the first question says to calculate the midpoint. We're going to calculate the midpoint there. The midpoint is equal to the upper boundary, the lower boundary. The midpoint is equal to, all right, open bracket, the lower boundary, which is in A2, plus the upper boundary, which is in B2, close bracket, divided by 2. Enter. Here it is 10. You go in your calculator if you want to do this manually, and you type open bracket 5 plus 15 divided by 2, 10. Then you do 15 plus 40 divided by 2, and so forth. However, you just go to your little green square, pop, and you get your midpoints one time. So this is how to calculate the midpoint using Excel. However, you are not obliged to do it. You can do it manually if you choose to. Midpoint, determine the midpoint. We have just done so.